About 7:15. We start breakfast at 7:30, another 15 minutes or so. Nice and calm and quiet Christmas morning. And that's the sun coming up over the mountains way back east. Kissing the property. This is looking towards downtown. Then over to the west end. Still pretty early, not really anybody out here on the beach. It'll definitely pick up later. Alright, Merry Christmas everyone. Today we're going to do a little tour, very short tour. Okay, so of course, starting here at Travelers, and we'll probably go up maybe 2 miles. Maybe. We'll see. See where the legs take us. I'm not gonna run hard at all today. Did 17 miles yesterday, so definitely taking it relaxed today. But let's get started. Start my watch. And we're going. I realized very quickly that this is probably not gonna be the best footage of me running on the beach in terms of the shakiness, because if I turn my camera around it's gonna get way more shaky. But I will stop and film where and when I can. All right, just ran up by Alfred's. It's maybe like half a mile from Travelers. Used to have a lot of live music. I still think they have live music here, but not what it once was. Those remember what it was like back in the day. But they also have like beach volleyball tournaments, or they used to at least. And I do believe that this is where they're going to be doing fireworks from on New Year's Eve. At least they used to, from that barge out there. All right, Alfred's. Let's keep it moving. All right, we're still going here. We're about a mile and a quarter in, up by Margaritaville. And looks like we're gonna hit 2 miles, so I think we are. But hold on, I'll show you exactly where we are. We got Margaritaville, and Travelers is, where's Travelers? Somewhere over there. We'll figure it out. I think it's over there. We'll figure it out. We'll keep going up. Gonna keep it moving. All right, just hit the turnaround points. We are just at Beaches, at the end of Beaches. A little over 2 miles in. Feeling good. Still pretty cool out here. The sun is like not beaming at this point, so it's pretty nice. I think it's around 7:30. I can't check my watch right now, but let me give you an idea of where we are. 1 second. So that's heading back downtown. I don't think you can see Travelers because it's on the bend, but that's where we came from. This is the rest of the beach. So you got Hedonism, then Point Village right at that tip right there, and then of course Booby Cay Island. What else is left here? You basically have Long Bay, which is a public beach. That's where Reggae Marathon ends, so which is like kind of right tucked away over there. And then after that you have Azul, then you have Boardwalk, and there's one in between, but I forget the name of it. And then after Boardwalk is Sandals, and then right next to Sandals is, so that's Sandals right there, and then right next to Sandals is Hedonism, and that pretty much is the end of the beach, so to speak, at least on the northern end. And then you go into Bloody Bay, which is the other 2 miles that I always talk about, which is where the reuse are, and can't really get over there right now. Or I think you have to be staying over there. I feel like you can get there somehow, but I don't know how, like publicly that is. But yeah, this is beaches. This is what we were talking about on the last live stream I did on Wednesday about their new rooms that they have here. And this is gonna be beautiful because, like, look what you have to look at and wake up to every morning is the ocean. It's like right there the whole time. Morning, morning, yes. So yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful view. I don't know which these are or what they are, but like, you know, it's Sandals. Obviously they're gonna do a marvelous world-class job with these things. Maybe we'll get a tour. You know, when it's all said and done, would love to do a tour and see what that view is like and what the rooms and everything are like. But oh wait, you can see, I guess that's like the rendition right there of what they're gonna look like. Let's go take a look real quick. Hope I'm not intruding or impeding, but I always get excited about this stuff, especially when it has to do with Negril and investing here. And like I've been saying, you know, they're obviously seeing a lot of potential and are very bullish on Jamaica and Negril, as am I. All right, a little bit of a rant, but let's get back home. All right, just stopped here at Couples, which is another very nice all-inclusive off the beach here. I believe it's adults only, but definitely couples. It's made for couples, right? And yeah, probably got a mile and a half to the end of the beach, which we're not running that way. We're actually going to be running back down this way. Got less than 20 minutes to go. I'm gonna keep it moving, but this was nice lighting, so I figured I'd stop and share. I forgot that I did a leg workout last night too, after running those 17 miles in the morning. That's really why my legs are feeling a little wobbly. Just sharing where I'm at right now. So a lot of people ask me about where a good vegan place to go is, and this is where I send everybody. Rasta Aid. I've actually never eaten here, but everybody tells me it's really, really good. This is about half a mile up from Travelers, half a mile north from Travelers. A little more than half a mile, yeah. Slightly over half a mile. But cool spot. I'll get here some point and have some food and be able to personally recommend it at some point in time. But I hear great things, great reviews. Again, everybody I send here is very happy with it. Rasta Aid. All right, back to it. And that's all she wrote. Back to Travelers. We did 41 minutes together. 4.34 miles, 4.35 miles, I should say. 9:35 per mile pace. Contemplating jumping in the water, but it's a little late. So I think that's it. And we're gonna stretch it out, call it a day. Hope you guys enjoyed that tour, mini tour. If you like it, we can do it again. We can show off some more properties and different parts of the beach at the later time when we do this again, if you want me to do this again. But that was fun for me, nice and relaxed, no worries. Anyway, back to the regularly scheduled program. See you guys later.
Welcome to Cocoa Palm Hotel Negril. My name is Kimisha Brackett. I am the sales and marketing manager here on property. At this property, we're a standalone hotel owned by a Minnesota family. We have 107 rooms on property. Our rooms caters for adults and kids. We have rooms with 2 beds. We also have suites, ocean view suites, cocoa suites, junior suites. We have 2 swimming pools on property, our family pool, which is a courtyard pool, and we have our adults on the pool. We also have a jacuzzi here on property. We have our restaurant, Marley's by the Sea restaurant, that caters for breakfast and dinner on a daily basis. We have our Marley's Beach Bar and Grill that caters for lunch. Come and walk with me. Let me take you to the beach, our beautiful 7 Miles Beach, right where we do most of our activities. We have our activities that we done daily. We have our cocktail party that is held every Monday at 6 until 7 right here on property, complimentary cocktail for our guests and hors d'oeuvres. We also have our entertainment on Wednesdays and Fridays. On Fridays, we have a full cultural showcase, the fire-breathing dragon on property in a full cultural show. We have our spa on property. If you want to do your massages on the outside or indoors, we can do that for you. We also have a gift shop on property that caters for all Jamaican souvenirs. Whatever you left at home, you can get it in our gift shop. Come and enjoy the beautiful property, Cocoa Palm Negril, here in Jamaica.
My name is Daniel Grizzle. I'm the managing director of Shirella Inn, which is a family-owned and managed small 59-bedroom hotel situated right in the center of the famous Negril Beach. And I would like very much to invite you all to come and experience what life is like here in Shirella Inn, to be part of our extended family. Several of the rooms are just open, overlooking the beautiful Caribbean Sea, and you have tall, waving coconut trees to welcome you and keep you cool on the beach. And you have a warm and interesting staff here ready to keep you comfortable, to make you feel at home, and to enjoy that you stay happy and peaceful.
What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday to you all. We are back at it again. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is having a great weekend so far. We are back on our regularly scheduled program, just showing some advertising, if you will, for some of our ThropX hotel sponsors that we've had in the past and also for this year. And we are getting pretty booked up here at Travelers, so we're definitely we're at the point of starting to push, which we have been already, but pushing our partner hotels more and more, because we are filling up here at Travelers. And if you haven't gotten your ThropX tickets, I would say more importantly, get your accommodations sorted out as quickly as possible, because it is filling up rather quickly. So if you haven't done that already, please do reach out to the front desk here at Travelers, are one of our hotel partners. We're going to come out with media for all of them. We're actually working on it this week. But we have Sherilyn, which you saw the commercial for Cocoa Palm. We have Sandy Haven, Negril Treehouse, Rayon Hotel, Skylark Rock House. And we'll definitely going to be putting out some content that we've created and are creating at this point in time for those hotel partners. But as usual, I already see it coming in. Please let me know where you all are chiming in from, what city, what state, what country. Always love to hear it. It really shows how global of a community we are, very much caring about Jamaica in its current state and its future. So today I have a bit of a variety show, I would say, in terms of things that I want to talk about, and also, I guess, address in some sort of way. I think some interesting things are going on. There's always something interesting happening with Jamaica. But as we kind of go into this, going into this new Jamaica, or building this new Jamaica, I think it's always interesting to see the teething process and understand the teething process that we're going through at this point in time. And I think it's important for us to weigh in as a community who really has Jamaica as just turning into this country of greatness. Not that we're not great already, but we are really, I think we're really on the cusp of doing something extraordinary and extremely, extremely special. So I feel honored to be a part of all that and be living in what I would say is history right now. So we'll go through those articles in a little bit, and let's start off with some comments. I also want to say that I have, speaking of Jamaica and its future and on the cusp of all this greatness, I'm dropping a video, or the premiere of a video is another 45 minutes at 4 o'clock, which we'll go over a little bit on this live stream, but I would say we'll hop over into the premiere of that video. And that is a healthcare video. One of, I feel like I keep saying this, but definitely one of my favorite panels that we had at ThropX 2023, but also I would say one of the most important as we really think about just the future of our kids, the Jamaican kids in particular, and then also the not only healthcare, traditional healthcare, but also the mental health aspect of it. And it's a really deep dive conversation with two great healthcare professionals. And if you haven't seen it already, or if you weren't there, definitely super worth your time. So I'm throwing the link there in the comments. You can check it out, and we'll port over right into that right after this live stream. Really a wealth of information and knowledge, and not only talking about and assessing like the current challenges, but they also talk about like what are some possible solutions, which is always where my mind ends up going, is always into problem solving mode, almost like by default. And that's what one aspect of the conversation that I really did appreciate. So let's hop into it. What's up, Justin? Good to see you. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you weren't here if the Cowboys were playing. We all know that at this point in time, but thanks for joining the live. Currency Walk, good afternoon from Albany, New York. Awesome, good to have you. Spirit Traveler, greetings. Westmoreland and all others. Carla watching from the USA. We're in the US. We want to hear Carla. Donna Bryce, good to see you. Chiming in from a sunny and warm Ottawa. Awesome. Happy to hear that. And please listen to Donna, everybody. Hit the like button on the way in. It definitely helps out a ton. Aaliyah, what's going on? Happy Sunday from the UK. Awesome. Patrice, hey guys, chiming in from Amsterdam. Awesome. A lot of people across the pond. Philip, greetings, everyone. Blessed Sunday. Donna says, I tried to register for a newsletter, but get a server error. Okay, I will look into that. I'm not sure what that's about. Yeah, I'm not sure if is that. Please let me know if anybody else is having that problem signing up for the newsletter on thropx.com. We put out I think a pretty good one on Friday, so we'll have more coming out this week. We're trying to get them up to two per week at this point, but I'll look into that for you, Donna. Philip, Canada Northwest Territory, awesome. Claudine, how are you? Happy Sunday, chiming in from California. Nice to have you. Joseph, tuning in from Costa Rica, awesome. Got to get there at some point. 4 and 6 is in the building. The Grill, 7 Mile Beach, Westmoreland, Jamaica. Happy to have you on. Vivian, hello all. Can't wait to return to Jamaica for retirement. Blessings all. Nice to have you on the stream, Vivian. T-Mac chiming in from Montreal. First time in the chat. Awesome. Welcome. Nice to have you on. Vivian, waiting on Suncoast development. Awesome. Not confirmed, but looking like it. Like I'm only saying this because I talked to Kevin today earlier. But looks like Suncoast is coming back again for ThropX this year. Not confirmed. Grain of salt, but I feel I have a pretty good relationship with Kevin, so I feel comfortable enough saying that to you all here. We're family right on this stream. So if you are coming to ThropX, more than likely you'll have your firsthand experience or opportunity to speak firsthand with the developer and representatives from Suncoast, which for those who don't know, that is I'll put it in the chat here. That is the only large-scale development in St. Thomas, which is the easternmost parish in Jamaica. And it is a luxury development. I'm throwing it in the comment section there, and you can take a look at it. Very beautiful development. Andrea chiming in from Westchester County, New York. I have the same issue when I try to sign up for a newsletter. Okay. All right, multiple people saying they're having an issue. Okay, I will get on that. I will get on that as soon as I get off this. I will see what's going on. What's going on, Corey MPA chiming in from MIA? Good to see you. Nice to have you on. Nadine, there's definitely a problem signing up for the newsletter, server error. Okay. I hear you loud and clear, Sorry about that, everyone. We will get that solved today. We'll get that solved today. Sorry about that. All right, good thing I brought that up. All right, we'll get that fixed. All right, let's see. What should be the first article we should get into? All right. So I feel like this is like my general feeling, like there's a lot of, I was gonna say instability. Instability is not the wrong word. Is the wrong word. I would say concern in regards to the economy in general, particularly in Jamaica. But I do think it is coming off what's happening in the U.S. as we say, and we understand that we're so interconnected globally, and more specifically with the U.S. And when something happens up there, then we kind of feel it down here. So let's trying to think what is the best order. All right, let's go to macroeconomic stuff first, and then we can get a little bit more micro, a little bit more granular. I think that makes more sense to me. All right, so this first article, one sec. I'm going to put it up on the screen, and I'm going to throw it in the comment section here. You guys can read it for yourself if you want. And this is from the Gleaner. Came out the 29th today. And the title is Keith Duncan Addressing Challenges of Jamaican Economy. Let me see if I could put it on the screen. 1 second here. Okay, cool. All right. This was written by, let's see who the author is. Who is the author? Okay, it's not. I can't find it. I don't know why they don't make this like super clear. Anyway, let's get into it. Let me know if you got any questions or anything like that as I go through, and we'll read through it, and then we'll have a little discussion afterwards. Jamaica's growth projections have been reduced from 1.8% to a range of -1% to 0.5% in fiscal year 2024-25. The global economy, despite relatively high interest rates, remains resilient, with growth holding steady and projected at 3.2% for 2024 and 3.3% for 2025. Globally, inflation is trending lower as central banks, including the Bank of Canada and the Bank of Central Bank and the European Central Bank, have begun easing their policy rates. It is expected that central banks globally will continue to ease monetary policy in the short term, driven by incoming data. The U.S. Federal Reserve boldly reduced interest rates by 50 basis points while signaling further rate cuts before year end, with more to come in 2025, subject to incoming data. This should reinforce the BOJ's recent monetary policy direction, and therefore it is expected that the Bank of Jamaica will continue easing monetary policy, including further reduction in interest rates. BOJ's monetary policy. Inflation, as expected, driven primarily by increases in food and electricity, rose to 6.5% due to the impact of Hurricane Beryl in the month of August. The BOJ had already projected for inflation to move out of the target range of 4 to 6% in August, and to remain out of the target range up until December 2024. There's been a sustained downward trend in Jamaica's inflation rate into the 4 to 6% target range, demonstrating the effectiveness of the BOJ's monetary policy actions in recent years. The achievement consists with the BOJ's inflation targeting mandate was to reduce domestic demand and economic activity, has led to lower growth in loans to businesses and reduced economic activity, as reflected in the Planning Institute of Jamaica Q1 GDP growth estimate of flat 0.1%. Balancing inflation and growth. BOJ will have to now balance the transitionary inflation with the risk of Jamaica moving into negative growth and a possible recession as the economy recovers from Hurricane Beryl. Jamaica has very little margin for the erosion of growth as the economy normalizes in its long-term growth rate of 1 to 2%. Risk to growth significant. Consistent with the PIOJ growth projection of 0.1%, for the April to June 2024, the services sector is projected to grow 0.1%. Tourism, classified as hotels and restaurants, has been the star performer in the sector and has been a primary driver of the recovery of the economy post the COVID-19 pandemic, would have flattened out with growth levels of 0.1% projected for April to June. The slowdown came on the back of the U.S. travel advisory, which is now compounded by the impact of Beryl, along with reduced airlift. Members of the sector are hopeful that airlift can be restored and forward bookings will improve. And the goods and producing sector, mining and quarrying, continues on a recovery path with 6.2% projected, with construction continues to underperform with a negative growth of negative 2.4%. Agriculture was showing steady growth with a projection of 2.7%, but Beryl would have pushed this sector into negative territory. Manufacturing is projected by the PIOJ to be flat for April to June 2024. In aggregate, the goods producing industry is projected by the PIOJ to grow 0.7% for the quarter one of the fiscal year. The economy, therefore, as the PIOJ projects, flattened out and showed weakness prior to the impact of Beryl in July, and therefore, looking ahead, the risk to the domestic GDP forecasts are skewed to the downside over the short to medium term. Monetary policy response. As the BOJ Monetary Policy Committee meets to make a decision on interest rates to be announced tomorrow, September 30th, the downside risk to growth can be minimized through the continued easing of monetary policy, but the pace and quantum of reduction of interest rates will be a critical factor in driving domestic demand, along with lowering the cost of financing for businesses, which have had margins and profits somewhat eroded and may have put investment on hold, awaiting a more favorable environment. It is widely expected that the BOJ will move in line with the Fed with a 50 basis points reduction from 6.5% to 6.25%. Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that. However, the BOJ could, as in the past, get ahead of the Fed and move to 75 basis points to 6%, which that's crazy. Really crazy. This move by the BOJ could send a powerful signal to the financial sector, the underperforming stock market, businesses, and consumers that we may begin to turn the corner. Very interesting. As you can see, I'm just reading this for the first time. Tax revenues at risk. And 2024-25 budget tabled by the Minister of Finance, GDP growth target was 1.8%, considering the estimated slowing of the economy for April to June 2024 quarter and the impact of Hurricane Beryl. The growth projections have been reduced to a negative 1% to 2.5% fiscal year 24-25. With the estimated reduction in economic activity, tax revenues are likely to be negatively impacted, and we are likely to see this reflected in the upcoming supplemental budget to be presented by Nigel Clark, which is likely to be his last. Worrisome growth in public sector wages. As GDP moderates and slows, wages and salaries, which were projected to be 12.6% of GDP, could increase in relation to GDP, with wages and salary being already high and consuming approximately 44% of total tax revenues. Jamaica could continue to see the ratio moving higher as economic activity slows along the growth in tax revenues. These ratios are extremely worrisome as wages and salaries reduces fiscal flexibility, if not controlled. Could crowd out other areas of expenditure, including capital expenditure and services to the Jamaican public, including the social safety net, which support the vulnerable. As the Governor of Jamaica goes to into new round of wage negotiations and the upcoming 25-26 fiscal year, it is important that the growth in wages and salary are kept lower or in line with the nominal growth in GDP to ensure that productivity levels are increased or maintained. The 9% wages to GDP fiscal rule was removed as the public sector compensation restructuring was introduced. The ratio is projected to be in the 12 to 13% range over the medium term, which brings consequential risk for Jamaica's fiscal profile. The slowdown in the economy brings along with it the attendant risk of lowering than budget growth and tax revenues, along with the increased expenditure in the public sector, wages and salaries, currently consuming an oversized share of GDP and tax revenues. The fiscal risk loom large. Achieving the fiscal balance targets and debt reduction strategies will become challenging and will require significant political will to maintain Jamaica's impressive fiscal performances. All right. As we move into the second half of 2024-25 fiscal year, the GOJ and BOJ will continue to optimize fiscal and monetary policy mix. These may require some fiscal adjustments accompanied by more aggressive easing of monetary policy and interest rate reductions in order to maintain macro fiscal stability and to proactively move Jamaica back into medium-term growth range of 1% to 2%. And at a minimum, Keith, okay, I guess this was written by Keith Duncan, chairman of the EPOC and CEO of JMMB Group. Okay, didn't realize in the beginning. Okay, cool. Lot going on there, to say the least. A lot going on there. Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought they would just be following, in terms of the interest rate drops, I thought they would just be following the U.S. Policy of dropping at 0.5%, which is going to definitely stimulate the economy. Like that's what it's meant to do, and stimulate spending. You know, it's going to become cheap. Like money's just going to become more affordable. And as it's stated, that construction is down 2 point something percent. I can't remember exactly what it was, which is also interesting as we talk a lot about like these. Yeah, 2.4%. As we talk a lot about things happening in the real estate sector in Jamaica, and also in the hospitality expansion sector, particularly in hotels. So anyway, that was the macro. I guess this is still macro that I want to talk about as well. But I like to bring these things up because it all is all piece of the pie, right? It's all part of the overall economy and overall finances of Jamaica. And I think as the savvy investors that we are, it's important to have these data points and keep them at the forefront of our mind, to kind of not get caught with our pants down, and to anticipate different things that could be happening on a global economic level, right? And of course, we got the U.S. elections coming up in November, essentially next month. And there is a lot riding on that line as well, not only like politically, but also globally, economically, that it should be taken into consideration as we make our investment decisions. So the next article, which I found interesting, because so this one is talking about like the slowdowns in remittances. All right, as we kind of I'm throwing it in the comment section there. And we've been talking about this over a series of live streams, right? And I guess the last time we talked about a live stream it was more specifically talking about how the younger generation that are part of the Jamaican diaspora are not necessarily feeling the same sense of obligation to send money from abroad back home here to Jamaica, to their family in Jamaica. And that is becoming more and more of a trend. This article is specifically speaking, or at least correlating the slowdown in remittances to Jamaica to basically what's happening in the economy, particularly in the United States and around the world, are kind of globally, and which I think is fair. But I think, like, from what we've been talking about, even talking to Professor Brown from UTech, is that what if this is like, not something that is just like a trend, right? What if this is like a situation that's here to stay? And I'm not saying that this is the case. I don't believe that this is the case that we're in right now, but I do think that we're in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, that could very well be the case. And how do we as a country, as a nation, prepare accordingly for that? And so let's go ahead and pull up the article here. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Okay. This one is Jamaican Observer, came out the 29th of September. Let's see who the author is. I don't know. Not seeing it. Okay. Let's see. Title of the article is Remittances continue to trend down. And they get a chart here. Chart 1, growth in net remittances, 10, -5, -1.4, -4.8 in July. Okay. Net remittances inflows up to July this year continue to slow, totaling US $269.4 million, 4.8% less, or 13 million US below that seen for the same period last year. BOJ in its last bulletin said this was largely due to a decline of 14.1 million, or 4.7% in total remittance and inflow, particularly set off by the decrease in remittance outflows of zero point 0.4 million, or 2%. Not really too sure what they're trying to say there, but all right. Anyway, let's continue. The decline in gross remittance inflows was due to a reduction in inflows through both remittance and companies and other remittances channels, the report stated. Net remittance inflows for the fiscal year to date, which also dropped by almost 1%, amounted to 1.07 billion to 7.2 million less than that of the corresponding period of the previous fiscal year. Based on an assessment of year-on-year outturn, the 4.8% decline recorded for July 2024 was the second largest seen over 4 years. This followed 5% in July 2022 and 1.4% in July 2023. For the record, 2024 year, when remittances reached their highest locally, inflows in July of that year grew by more than 10%. Still below the almost 3.5 billion in inflows seen for the historic 2021 year, a period when the COVID pandemic continued to impact countries. Inflows last year totaled 3.37 billion, falling below the 3.4 billion in 2022. Among the top foreign exchange earnings flowing into Jamaica, remittances, which are gifts sent back home to friends and loved ones in the form of cash from migrants overseas, have from 2002 to 2023 averaged some 2.1 billion US dollars. Throughout these years, inflows have seen an all-time high of 3.49 billion in 2021, and a record low of 968 million in 2001. According to data from the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, remittance received by countries in Latin America and the Caribbean reached 154.5 million in 2023, 0.9% below projection. The dip, which is linked to lower than expected growth in the total wage bill of migrant workers in the U.S. during the final months of 2023, stemmed from continued inflationary pressures seen globally, with flows to the LAC expected to grow at a faster rate this year, above 2%. Other international bodies, such as the World Bank, predicted that this will be largely dependent on potential downside risks, which could include weaker than expected economic growth in high-income migrant-hosting countries and volatility in oil prices and currency exchange rates. The United States, which continues to be the largest source of market of remittance flows to countries such as Jamaica, up to July this year, accounted for 68.4% of total inflows, followed by the UK at 11.1%, Canada at 10.6%, and Cayman Islands at 5.8%. Yeah. So yeah, we can see. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, there's not like one thing that is causing this, but as they say, when when the U.S. catches a cold, Jamaica sneezes, sort of thing, right? And so this is like a clear indication of what can happen. And we broke down just like the financial psychology of how that works, right? And I think we started with the example of the housing market and paying mortgages there. And if you have a mortgage in Jamaica, like which one are you going to pay first? Which one is the priority? And everybody agreed that the priority would be the mortgage in the United States, right? And then same goes for as they talk about migrant workers in the United States, right? And if if you're getting laid off from your job in the United States, right? And you normally send X amount of dollars home. And at that point, you're forced to really focus on your situation and what's happening immediately in your life. And maybe you're going to survival mode. Then you're either going to send less money back home in Jamaica or you're not going to send any at all because you can't afford to. And so that is, I think that is happening. Also, when we talk about like behavioral like economics, right? And I'm a huge believer in using both like the technical aspect and then also the behavioral aspect when it comes to finances and economics, right? And so if people have like low confidence in the economy or low confidence in the short to medium term of their financial situation, then it could be you're gonna become more conservative with your spending, right? And if you think that in a month or two from now, or if you think we're going to be heading into a recession, you maybe say, hey, we need to start preparing for winter and start storing our eggs, so to speak, right? And you may want to just prevent or at least hedge against downside risk because you're losing confidence. And all of this plays into people's decision making and how they spend their money. And I think a lot of that is what's going on here and is a big part of the equation as these things try to kind of poke its head up and the remittance is coming down. But like I've been saying, and we've been discussing here when we talk about, and this is like one of the, yeah, it might be the last article that I bring up, but talking about the importance of making, what would I say, making us more valuable as the average Jamaican more valuable in the market, right? And that I'm particularly talking about the skill sets that they bring to businesses, that they bring to their own businesses. And, that is, I think that's like the question of the century, right? How do we, at scale, how do we make our society more valuable in the global market? How do we make our society more valuable to the Jamaican market? And we're putting out high character, high performing individuals, either coming out of high school or coming out of college, whatever it may be, and we're just really, really performing at a high level globally. And I think it's important that I don't know how we start to focus because like I say these words, then you start to think about like the immediate challenges that we have in Jamaica. Like I said, in another 15, 17 minutes, we have the healthcare video that I have on my channel that was a discussion topic for Thropex 2023. And as you go through the video, it's just like, what? This is crazy, in terms of like it being this seemingly insurmountable issue that we have as a nation, and we try to come up with different solutions to these problems. And it's just like we got to take these problems on like one step at a time. But when I think about this future that Jamaica is heading into, like my concern continues to be like, hey, we got to make sure that the average Jamaican isn't left behind in this, because like I truly believe that Jamaica is on this really, really awesome and phenomenal path. And so going back to the skill section, and this other article I was going to read was talking about particularly the construction sector, and there just being a shortage in a shortage in workers, and that continues to be a theme here, particularly low skill and high skill workers. And again, it's just like, how do we get our workforce up to par and beyond par, right? And performing again at a high level. And it's just such a difficult problem to approach because it's like education takes time, learning a skill takes time. But like, are there sectors or are there opportunities in industries where you can do a 3 months course or a 6 months course and at least be at a level and come into the job and then learn on the job, so to speak. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here with these sort of things. And when you think about these problems, you don't want to get into a mindset of it being insurmountable, right? And this is impossible, because no, there's always a way. There's always a way. But especially as we talk about and as we see like all these AI tools that are coming out, it is really, really mind boggling. I don't know if a lot of you are keeping up with what's happening. And even with like the new chat GPT, and let me know like if you're in the comments, like how many people use these AI tools like on a regular basis. Like I use chat GPT every single day, every day. And it's becoming one of these tools. Like, is it going to get to a point where I'm using Chat GPT more than I'm using Google? And I could easily see that be something that's in the immediate future. And all right, what does this have to do um with education and skill sets of our young people? Is that I question, like, are our kids using ChatGPT on a regular basis? Are they becoming good prompters? Do they even have access or know what ChatGPT is? I'm talking about like really young people. And I'm saying this because I remember I saw this video. I mean, it could be fake. It's the internet, but it's hard. It's hard for me to say this fake. I remember like this. I think she was an American 8-year-old, and it was just like, I'm assuming it's her parents or somebody set up a camera and just talking about, and she was just talking through how she used ChatGPT to make this website, and just giving it these prompts to code to make this website, and like she just did it so quickly. I remember seeing another one with these other two young Indian kids. I mean, like, these kids are probably 12 years old. Again, using these softwares to just, I'm not going to say I don't know how much they know, but they didn't have to have, like, these are, what would I say, college level and beyond skill sets that used to be that even like 2 years ago that you would need this to know Python and know these different coding languages to create these websites or create these businesses or create these apps. And they're doing it in seconds so quickly. I'm sure we have the Jamaican version of these kids, right? I'm sure there are young Jamaicans who are privy to this stuff and who are using it. But I think it's just like so important that our kids are exposed to these technologies and are using them on a regular basis. And it's more than just, I tell my team, this all the time. It's like, I could tell, and people reach out to me all the time, right? And like what I've noticed in the last 6 months, people reaching out to me to work together, to do opportunities. And, right now I just really, really don't have the time, especially with DropX coming up. But there have been so many people who reached out to me who I could tell just put it into Chat GPT and like puts in like this prompt, like, hey, I want to reach out to this YouTuber and I want to do this and want to do that. And then I could tell they just take the first thing that was given back to them and they just send it to me. And it is like the laziest thing, the absolute laziest thing that you can do. And it just turns me off completely. That just tells me that you're not serious about whatever it is that you've reached out to me about. And there is, a variety of ways of using these tools, but it can make us lazy at the same time. It can make us not so innovative and also extremely reliant on them if we're not careful. And so it's important to use these tools, to learn how to use them, but we need to be using them on a regular basis, and we need to be using them in the right ways. I know I spoke with a friend who she's a professor at a college here in Jamaica, and she was telling me that large majority of her students are using ChatGPT to write papers, and she's failing them. And she's saying that this is a huge problem. This is at the college level here. I'm not going to say the college, but it's at the college level here in Jamaica. And she says it's one of the biggest problems that they're having right now. And again, I think there's a laziness to it, and I think it's important that we teach, especially like as our young people come into the workforce and go into like different levels of education, that they're taught how to use these tools to assist them, but not to do the work for them. Very, very important. Very, very important distinction. And it's just like one of my concerns that we're going to get left behind as a nation, and as we move into this future that we have no idea what's going to look like. I do believe like it's so important that we're going to need to know how to use these tools, or else like we're going to get left behind, and we're going to be like the support country or the support workforce for the countries and workforces who have figured out how to optimize these tools and how to optimize these AI tools on a regular basis. And if you're not using them on a regular basis, using them like every day, and just kind of, I know it's hard to keep up with a lot of these technologies, but just like kind of just keeping up to it like at a level and innovate as things happen. Man, I don't know what's going to happen with our workforce here. All right, let's get to some comments here, and we can hop back. What's going on, Shauna? Good to see you. Mosaic Travel and Tours, Simone, my channel members, my Patreons. Thank you all for chiming in. I appreciate you all. And shout out to all the channel members and Patreons. I appreciate you all. Thank you for the support. Shirley Butler, hello from Maryland. Good to see you. T Ray says, what does Jamaica produce or export? Is an economy built mainly on tourism and remittances? Primarily, 100%. You are right. That is literally 1 and 2. Remittances first, seconded by tourism. And we do produce, like, I've been saying this, like, we need to get to a point where I have another article lined up talking about, how do we position, essentially talking about like positioning Jamaica as an export destination. But there's just so much that goes into that, even from like a manufacturing standpoint. The article mainly speaking about policy and what would I say? Policy and educating on, different tariffs around the world, and understanding the cost of that as well. So we won't get into that today, but I think there's a great opportunity there as well. But even on the infrastructure standpoint, if like becoming like a manufacturing hub that exports to other countries, it's something to be focused on. It's something to really, really, really be focused on. And I have a lot to say on that. I want to get it. There's 2 articles I want to get into. Hopefully, we can get into it before the video we're going to hop over to shortly. Ray Anthony Chan Campbell says the government ain't trying to fight crime. If the rate of crime goes down, then they won't get enough financially assistance from the United States, etc. to pocket. I mean, that's not true, Ray, because crime is down. I mean, I wasn't going to bring this article up, but since you brought it up, I will just quickly. I won't read the whole thing. But crime is down overall. Let me just bring it up. So this is the article. The Observer came out today, 29th. It must be all hands on deck in the fight against crime, JCF says. So this is the police commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake. And just real quick, just second paragraph. In a recent address, police commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake noted that while there has been a 17.3% reduction in murders and a 13.5% reduction in major crimes overall, the data should be met with both celebration and reflection. So crime is down, at the end of the day, like crime is down, and it is, at least I personally feel that this is a priority of the government, is the priority of the JCF to focus on. And there have been real examples of this. I would say the millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars that has been invested in crime fighting technology and training here in Jamaica, and I want to say over a 10-year period. Don't quote me on that, but close to a 10-year period at least. And again, there has been examples of that, of the use of particularly intelligence, tactical strategy. I used the Negril shootout, if you will, that happened a couple of months ago. We talked about that at length. If you've seen the video, you've seen the video. And I always say that was in the moment, that was a very, very proud moment for Jamaica and for the JCF. But to me, that was a very clear example that this is like a new, different JCF and a different approach to crime, and really using intelligence more than anything else. And even when they were like breaking down and explaining how they went about it and how they got there. Like it was great. It was great in that sense. And I believe that it doesn't seem like they are taking their foot off the gas pedal by any means or any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, this I think you need to look at the evidence a little bit before making a statement of that nature, because it's just simply just not true. Let's keep going here. OB, what's going on? Thanks for being a channel member. Appreciate you. And Leah says, I use it. Young workers at my work use it too. Early 20s. Talking about Chat GPT. Donna Bryce says, I believe the Reach Academy in Kingston teaches AI coding. Chatty says, if you don't use Chat GPT, you can't Chat GPC. There you go. All right. Chatty got bars. Yeah. So it's so important that we use I use these tools on a regular basis. I mean, even setting up for this live stream. I mean, the thumbnail, it's all it's all AI, and even coming up with thumbnails and titles, like I am talking to this thing and ideating. I think that's, to me, being a creative and what I do, that is one of the things that I would say is most valuable for me, is like I have somebody to this thing to just bounce ideas off of, and you just kind of go back and forth. But it's just it can't be this thing that you just use that becomes your brain, and like I think it's important that you got to be smart first, and then use this tool to help optimize what you already are proficient at, are already good at. But if you get to this point that you're just relying on this thing to do everything, one, like people like me, you're going to be able to tell immediately, and even like when the team is like putting out just different written correspondences, it's like, if I could tell that this is Chat GPT, so can the other person who's receiving this. And this is like, we can't do that. We really, really can't do that, because it's like, if I'm not going to take somebody seriously that's sending me a Chat GPT 100% written letter or whatever it is, like, I don't think the other person would either. And it's just, yeah, lazy. Yeah, but good to know people are using it. Good to know people are using it. What's going on, Jay Fitz? Checking in from ATL. Okay. We got a Throp X attendee, 2024 attendee. I appreciate you, Jay Fitz. Thanks for hopping on. This is going to be your third one, right? 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. 3 in a row. Kwame, what's going on, man? Kwame says, exactly, Throp. The investment into the law enforcement has been the highest and the most by any administration, and there have been tangible results. It's a long-term strategy and not overnight short-term plan. Exactly. And like, these things are going to take, I mean, it's going to take a while, but I'm happy that we're doing it. And kind of going back to what I was saying about like these seemingly insurmountable challenges that Jamaica has, with healthcare, education, etc. Like, these things take years. You invest now, but you're not going to see the fruits of your labor for perhaps decades. And again, the investment, at least when I started paying attention to it, the investment into crime fighting, technology, training, etc. At least, this is 10 years in the making. 10 years in the making. And now you're starting to really see what's happening and really see where that investment is going. And the same thing needs to be done with healthcare. The same thing needs to be done with education. But from like a political standpoint, in terms of like how politics are the government is set up, it's not incentivized, my opinion, it's not incentivized for long-term thinking, long-term investment. And especially with education, like, it has to be like a 20-year, like a 20-year plan, and how we're going to how we're going to turn this around. And it's something that needs to be focused on for young people, like a young person who's like 1 years old, like, and what is their life going to look like from 1 to 18. But it also has to focus on the 14 and 15-year-olds, and what they are going to do, and what kind of education that they're going to get in high school and college, and eventually come into the workforce. All right, we got my video premiering in like 2 minutes here. Trying to think, what should we? I got so much to talk about. We're gonna do a midweek live stream. That's what we're gonna have to cut this short. I do want to talk about this last article. Maybe we'll skip around. All right. I thought this was important. Okay, this is Jamaica youth want bigger bite of tourism pie. This is written by Horace Hines of the Observer. Came out the 27th of this month, and in the picture you can see our very own Amashika Lauren, and she's hosting this panel. And let's quickly skip around just a bit. I just want to get the gist of this article and have a quick 2-minute discussion. Montego Bay St. James reserving more executive positions for local tourism workers and improving linkages were among suggestions made by young Jamaicans who were asked for solutions on how to retain a larger share of earnings from the sector. Especially where we look at what the managerial roles look like in tourism right now, we have to consider our own people as well, as well, so that they can be able to climb the ladder. A lot of jobs are existing in tourism, but we really need to make sure that a lot of the higher income jobs are also being occupied by locals and Jamaicans. Katrina Chin, Tourism Society president of the University of West Indies, said. She also spoke of the need to improve quality of jobs available. I spoke in Youth Parliament last year regarding underemployment. We have a lot of jobs, more people are being employed, but what are they being employed to do? That is a bigger question, Chin added. She was one of the 4 panelists participating in Wednesday's youth panel discussion at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James, moderated by children's book author Amashika Lauren. Discussion on youth as a catalyst for change formed part of Tourism Youth Forum 2024, which has among planned activities for Tourism Week. The celebrations are being observed under the Tourism and Peace Out of Many One Love. So we're probably just gonna leave it right there because we're gonna hop into the video shortly. But I love this initiative. I think it's so important that we have a very seamless pipeline of talent coming into the tourism industry in Jamaica, because in many respects it is the lifeblood of the country. And I think it's important that we recognize, listen, and hear our young people as they understand and are about to embark on this career of hospitality. And we really want to hone their skills. We really want to allow them to see what their future could possibly look like in this industry. And we want them to understand like they are the future of this industry. And we are definitely looking for them to be innovative. We're looking for them to help grow the industry. We're looking to them to be the ones to come up with different ideas of how we're going to continue to be competitive in this extremely competitive landscape of global tourism. And so, when this young person is saying that they don't feel that they are necessarily getting an understanding of the opportunities that exist in tourism and can't really see how they're going to climb the ladder to do this and to do that, it's just like us as the tourism leaders and whether we're hotel owners or managers or directors of these properties, it's just like, all right, I don't want that to be the case. I don't want that to be the case, that young people don't feel like they have an understanding of what their career could look like or their career trajectory to look like. And to me, like when I hear this, is like, okay, maybe we need to start looking a little bit inward and see why they feel like this. Is that their perception, or is that the reality, right? And then we kind of just go from there and make adjustments where we need to make adjustments. Let's go into the comments before we close out. We probably got like a minute or less than a minute. I think we started. Yeah, we started. We're gonna hop over there in a second. All right. JFit says, I'm showing my age, but when calculators first came out, my math teachers still made us show our work to arrive at the answers. Yep, that's same with me. KJ Martin says, I like what I'm seeing with the clinics and the community being upgraded. Growing up in my mom would take me to community clinic, good care, even dental. Okay, talking about healthcare. And as we speak about healthcare, let's go over to the, sorry to cut this short, everybody, but we got the premiere happening. Let me stop. We got the premiere happening right now. It looks like people are hopping over there right now. And this is on healthcare. And I'm going to talk about that article again. I think there's much more that we need to dive into, particularly in that article. And I hate to cut it short. We're going to do another live stream this week. I might do two, as a matter of fact, because we're definitely going to still do the Friday live stream, the ThropX live stream. But there's just like so much to talk about with more AI stuff, what's happening in the BPO sector, what I think's going to happen in the BPO sector very shortly, because the AI stuff that's coming out shortly is crazy, and I can't see a future. I mean, even within 2 to 3 years of where we would even need call centers. Like it just doesn't even make sense. Doesn't compute for me at all. And so definitely going to talk about that in the live stream. I'll live stream later this week. It's just seemingly it's an inevitability as far as I'm concerned. And as you may or may not be aware, like a significant percentage of the working population of Jamaica is employed to the BPO sector. And I just think, what's going to happen when those jobs disappear? And what are those folks going to go into? I think they're going to come back into tourism, because I'm for sure, but I don't think that's going to be every job, right? That's not going to be every job, but something to think about as we move into this this very AI driven future. And it's an interesting time, an interesting situation, and definitely want to talk more about it, extrapolate different ideas, and hopefully not get caught with our pants down, so to speak. So anyway, we're going to hop over to the premiere of the healthcare video. This is it's called Jamaica's Healthcare Crisis, exploring the gaps in patient care across Jamaica. So that is what we're going to hop over and watch now. And I threw it in the comment section there. And if you want to hop over, we can have a little discussion there. Sorry, this one was so quick and short, and I felt like we just sped through these articles, but I just want to get you all the information. We'll do it again sometime later this week, and it will definitely be back on Friday with the ThropX live stream. Thank you all for joining today's stream, and I'll see you over at the premiere on my channel. Go ahead and click that right now. Give everybody a chance. Click it. Click it now. Should see the numbers start going down. All right. See you over on the premiere. Have a great week, everybody. Peace.